some water now.
Hey, yo, whoa, damn, hey, turn me up, whoa, I can't hear my voice up on the beat, so I'ma float, hold the headphone a little closer, this is my boat, roll it for a second, control it for a second, like I rolled a lot, fly above the bullshit daily, it's another one, waking up the sun, beating me down, so I feel like sunny smiles around the town, frowns don't bring me down for a second, cause I got a couple steps left up on my plan, see, reaching for the man, see, eating out my hand, please, watch me change the topic, change the rhythm, change the rhyme, do the shit, cause I'm sublime, for the time being, feet up on the beach, kick it back, lay it down, watch me dream out, wow, I got a lot of styles I could dive into, this beat is live as you. I feel like vibing too, so I'ma ride with you for the time being. Cruise off the road, hop into this mode, let them know it's something magic when I break the mold. Wow, I change the time for time being. You know that my rhyme seeing past the future momentarily. Me and my niggas here to kill the beast. I feel like fairy heat, hot magic styles. Way again, hey, wait a friend. We back to start the show, let's let them in.
Hey.
That's hard. Welcome to Vine Tree Radio, it's your boy West here chilling with
Mauriwowi, how's it going?
You know we got a guest, introduce yourself.
Deshaun, what's good with y'all?
How you doing today, man?
What's good? How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling good. What y'all doing?
Feeling good. You know, welcome to Vine Tree Radio. You know, we've worked through this a couple times before, but I feel like this one is the one, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get into music as it relates to, you know, concerts and festivals like we've talked about a couple different times, but we're going to talk about a different side of that today, which is like, you know, the behind the scenes side of that. And also we're going to talk about life, you know, life affirmations and everything of that sort. But first off, you know, we like to start it with a little bit of like, I guess, an introduction about yourself and maybe how you got to doing what you do now or like your path, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I started just talk about work and shit. So like I was still at Target when I was working at Target with you, Wes. I just wanted to get something new, and then I started working.
How many years ago was that when you started working at well, you can tell them what you do.
Oh yeah, so like I'm a bar back at the Shrine. It's by USC, but how I started getting into it was I think 2018. That's when I first, my homie Joseph, he hooked it up. He plugged me up with the job. I just started just doing ID checking. I eventually wanted to be a bar back, and then worked my way up to like being a cashier. And then one day, it was so funny though. One day, one of my coworkers, he was a bar back. We had a show. I forgot what show it was. But then I guess one of the security guards caught him smoking weed in the bathroom, and then the next day he got fired. And I was like, yo, that shit's crazy. And then like the next show that we had, my boss was like, you want to be a bar back? I was like, yeah. He's like, you can start training next week or whatever. I was like, yo, that's crazy. And then I just started making tips. That's when I first, that's like 2 or 3 months before I moved out to Long Beach for school. And then so I was like, what's the word? Can't think of the word. Like, not traveling, but what's it called?
You're in between. Oh, commuting.
Commuting. Yeah, that's the word. Commuting. I was commuting from Long Beach to there, and that's like what, like 50 minutes.
So what venue did you work at?
I worked at the Wiltern. I worked at the Wiltern, the Palladium, but there was another one called the Orpheum. I hadn't worked there before yet, and then COVID hit, so I was a year off working, didn't do any of that stuff, and then Joseph again hooked me up with this job. He's like, oh, go apply, and then I applied. Then like a week later, they sent me a email like, oh, we on an interview. I was like, that's cool. And then like once the interview hit, like I talked to the managers, and then they were hella cool with me. And they were like, we never met someone like as like prompt as you and shit like that, being responsible. And I was like, for sure. And then like they just hired me on the spot. I was like, yo, that's crazy, because most of the jobs I've had, I got hired on the spot, which is pretty dope, because a lot of people would be waiting. And then what's it called? I just started this job last year, I think August. My first show was, I think, Cypress Hill, and then that's when all the shit was started going on. That shit was crazy though.
So I guess I have like a question having to do with like maybe like your upbringing and in relation to concerts and all that. Like, was this something that you saw yourself doing like since you were young? Like, as you're like not like this career path essentially, but like, was you into like this since you were young, like music?
I
and,
think
like,
I was into music when I was young. Like I always like used to download the music like before it would come out, like all the leaks and shit. But like into this career, nah, not really, cause I kind of do it now, but at the same time, I'm trying to think. I forgot what was the question again.
It just had to do with like when did you start getting into like I guess the idea of music as like concerts or that shit is like something having to do with your career. I guess.
The first concert, I think it was the 420 Fest or Smokers Fest. What's it called? That's when I first got into my first concert, and I was like, yo, this shit's crazy. Like I wonder what it'd be. What's it called, working that shit. And then Joseph, the homie that got me the job, he was like, I work like EDM shows and stuff like that. I'm a bar back. Blah,
At that time, he was already into it.
Yeah, he was already into it. He was like, bro, you can make hella money. Like I'm gonna put you on. And he's like, oh, for sure. And then like once I actually got there and like I got to see like my first, when I was just ID checking, my first show was Gunna. And then like one of my coworkers was like, go watch the show. Literally, I was front row, like taking videos and shit, just watching Gunna. I was like, bro, this shit is crazy. Like,
that's interesting. I think that's something we didn't really touch on the other times we've talked. What experiences did you have while ID checking? Even though that was like a short experience in time, like was there like crazy stuff that happened there versus like bar backing?
Oh yeah, cause like you're meeting all the people that are coming in, like at first, and like you always obviously like if you're ID checking, you're in Hollywood, so like. I'm in Hollywood at the Wiltern, and so like you just see all these homeless people, and like, bro, I swear to God, like three or four separate occasions, like all these homeless dudes are like trying to get tickets or whatever, and the security guard's like, nah, we ain't doing that. And then like this fool swung on the security guard. I was like, yo, like the security guard obviously didn't punch because he for sure would have got fired, but like bro, he was just start pushing him, and then like they just had like strangle him, whatever, like they had to push him out, like. But you get all those crackheads, but like as far as like the people coming in, bro, they're mostly like some bad girls coming in.
People
bro.
try to cut the line ever?
Oh, not necessarily, but I've definitely seen a bunch of fake IDs.
No,
like
I was gonna say,
you
I
can
feel
definitely
like you might
tell
get fakes or people trying to cut or like shit. Like, did you ever have to confiscate no shit? Nah, you're just checking the IDs.
Yeah, I was just checking IDs. Like, especially like most of the IDs were girls, so I was like, I'm just gonna let them in. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. It was like a nigga. I was like, nah, like
you should bleep that out so you don't get fired and shit.
Hey, nah, that's my old job, bro. I don't do that shit now.
Okay, got you. It was like, so
bro,
like,
they already zoned me out. They fucking flished me out.
It's some shit you don't work there no more.
Yeah,
cool.
It's all good though.
But hey, I feel that though that like concerts is an interesting culture in itself because I feel like it's not like a bar, you know what I mean? Like you there to like go to a show, like like a lot of shows are all ages. A lot of shows are like some aren't, but like you know what I mean. It's usually like that, like usually like a bar or something else.
Very true, but low key, I think you've probably gotten to see this very firsthand. Is how big like alcohol sales go into like these events. You know what I mean? Like most of these events, from my understanding, they make a lot of their money on the back end from
they want people that can do that buy alcohol there.
For like the venue itself, like they make it off the alcohol, you know what I mean?
No, for sure, because it was crazy though. Like last Saturday or Friday when we had a show, I forgot what it was. It was Polo and Pan. It's like a European DJ, and that's like our first kind of EDM show like that we had at the exposition hall. And then like our boss was like, we're gonna have like a guessing game. She's done this before, but she didn't really pull through. And you're like, oh, guess what our net sales would be like, just like for the whole night. And most of it's alcohol, obviously, because we serve food and water, but like most of it's literally alcohol. And then like we all put our guesses in. I think mine was like 80. A lot of people are like 65, 90. And then like she would give us updates every like hour, and like it was at 65 in the first like hour and a half, and then an hour and a half later, bro, it went up to 80, 90, and then we ended up at the end of the night it was like 120. And she was like everybody can get a bottle of our special closet. And it's like a bunch of like dope shit. And I just got it yesterday, like, cause I had to confront her about it. But like, the sales is crazy though. Like most of it's like, bro, it's crazy. The experience is crazy because when you see like cause I'm walking around like checking all these bars, and like you just see all the people on the drugs, and like you can see them like
that must be a different view. Did your view change from like say going to concerts and then when you're there and then now you're behind the thing and you see people? I feel like when I'm there I've seen that too, you know what I mean? Like I get that same feeling at times, but I feel like maybe the amount of time that you're there like in the time lapse of it all. If you get what I'm saying, like seeing everybody like come in and come out to the last person, I feel like that adds like an impact on it.
It does add an impact, but I feel like I still have the same view. Like going to concerts, like I feel like if you're in the like, you know, like how the Travis Scott situation happened, like if you're gonna be in the front, like you know what you're gonna get into, especially type like these hip hop shows. EDM is different. They're really more nice and like they understand. But most of these hip hop concerts, like people don't give a fuck about you. Like you know that like if there's not security around, they're not gonna do anything to you unless there's like people that come from the heart that just help you up, get you like what's it called, the EMT and shit like that. So like I don't know, but like it is crazy though, because I seen these people pass out. Like one time I saw this girl piss on herself. That was my first concert.
I've seen that.
Like, bro, I'm like,
I saw that happen, but when I saw that happen, it was for like a good reason. In my opinion, it was like Frank Ocean was performing.
Yeah. Oh.
And like they didn't want to, and they didn't want to move from their spot. And like I didn't know them, but we knew that was happening. Like you know what I mean? It was one of those situations where it was just like everybody was kind of right here in the crowd, and no one was finna dip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just seen the person just straight peeing there, and everybody's kind of just like, oh shit, somebody's peeing by us. Like what the fuck do we do? And eventually you're just kind of like, well, whatever.
She,
like
take her pants down, or did she
nope.
just piss herself?
They literally
It's
they
on
just
her pants, like
there.
where you can see like a wet spot on someone's pants. Like when you're a kid, bro, everybody's peed their pants. That's how it went down. But at the same time, that only time I've ever seen that happen was like in that setting was like to see Frank Ocean, and it was like, did he perform ever after that though? I think he did in New York, like right after that, but that was it though.
So I feel it's respectful.
You know what I mean?
If you gotta
Who
go,
made the right move?
Shit, if you got the video, then it don't matter.
You know, her the person that dipped to the bathroom.
That's too funny. But but touching back to a little bit what Wesley was saying with like seeing the different side of it, seeing from getting to see like the you know, a little bit of like the backstage, or like when it comes to like production and setting all this up, like has that kind of like shaped your perception like when you go to like festivals? Because I know you like to go to a lot of concerts and in general, and like when you see it, do you see it from a different lens now, from like a production, like do you see the other shit that's going on? Like,
oh yeah, for sure, because I see like even like having them set it up, like that shit takes hours. Like they're there 2 or 3 days before, so like when we're setting up, they're setting up, and then especially like when we finish shows, like they have to tear that shit down. I'm like, bro, like the lights, like all the like, and like they have like for like the expo shows, they have like I don't know if not like a DJ set, but like where they do all the lights and like all the sounds, like and all
the lighting and sound.
Yeah, like they're in the middle. I'm like, bro, like, and like all these people are crowded around them. It's usually, and then most of like the VIP and like the people.
Does it take longer? I feel like it takes longer, right, than like the bar and food setup. Obviously, like the lighting. And
what do you mean?
Their setup.
Oh
like,
yeah. Right? Our shit takes like a couple hours.
They're there for a while.
They're there for at least like 10-hour days, maybe, like, because they got to set up the stage, the lights, and they got to use all like the equipment. Like,
are you guys homies? Is it beef?
No, like, cause we're cool with the.
We're cool with like, no, you guys set that shit up. We set this shit up.
No. There's the only people that we have beef is the people that sell merch. Cause like there's a bar, there's an A-man bar at the expo hall, and then like there's merch right here. And the few times I had to work at this bar, I didn't have enough space to set up, and I'm like, bro, like they literally have all their boxes like in front of our bar. I'm like, dog, like, y'all finna move these? Or like, I had to tell my manager, just tell them, like, I told them, and they get all butthurt.
Like they come in on some wild merch shit, just like, bro,
like,
we got the boxes here,
bro, they had hours to set up, and like, bro, it's like 20 minutes before the doors open. I'm like, bro, what y'all niggas on? Like, I'm not cool with that shit. That's the only people I don't fuck with like that. But like production, I respect all of them. Like they're hella cool.
Do their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
From having seen like at festivals where the coworkers seem to kind of like hook each other up, like maybe like the food people will give like the drink people like some free food, or like vice versa. Is there ever anything like that, like where you work, where like you get like the hookups of like being able to?
Oh yeah, like what's it called? West came in one time. For
that was cool, bro. Yeah, that was hella cool. I mean, I'm glad we could talk about that now versus like other times we talked, because at the time I had been to the shrine maybe only like once. I think I did talk about that. I had been to see Thundercat and Erykah Badu, But then this was my second time ever going since then, and it was my first time seeing Tolbert like at work too. So that was pretty cool. I got to see Thundercat, and then I definitely got plugged up by a free drink by him for sure. Like by pulling up, definitely. At first, I was kind of skeptical on what was good. I was like,
because he kept on texting me, and then because I remember my first or second show in, and I think one of the homegirls tried to ask me to get free drinks, and I asked my manager, she's like, you've only been working for like a couple weeks, like we have to talk to her, or like if she's like really your friend, or blah blah blah. I was like, I just told Daisy, I was like, nah, like I'm good on that. I'm not trying to see no whole ass conversation, and then like. It was our Thundercat.
When I went, it was like you said, it was the last show.
It was the last show of the season.
So I figured like if anything's gonna fly right now, like right now is the time it can fly. Like it's about to be a start over fresh zone, you know?
Yeah, because my manager was like, I asked her, she was like, "Fuck yeah!" I was like, "Shit."
She's having a good time. Not gonna lie, that was a great show.
Oh, bro, it was crazy.
Why I think that's why like everybody was in a perfect mood, bro. Because it was the last show of the year, and it was like his homecoming show of his tour too. Mm-hmm. And he's from like Los Angeles, and he brought out like everybody. He
brought Ty Dolla $ign out. That shit was
Steve
cool.
Lacey, Haim, bro. Like, and then he announced, I think that he was like dating what's her name from Haim, like the girl in the other group. It was some shit, bro. And then she fell on stage. It was some crazy shit that night, bro.
Bro, it was wild.
That's dope. So man, do you ever get like how often do you get like really good nights like that? Like where it's just like good show going on, good vibes.
No, but like a lot of the sold out shows doesn't necessarily mean sales, because if it's like, because we make more money in EDM shows obviously, but like if it's hip hop, there's like not much of a chance we'll make good money. But like EDM, like they double the sales, or like even like country or rock or like punk shows, like those make crazy, because we get all the old people in, like the older people coming in, and like they spend so much money on booze, and then they know how to tip, because if you get all these all age concerts, people don't tip, bro. These little ass kids, they're like,
they barely have a making in the door.
It's $3 or $4 for a walk, like, bro, they tripping about the price, and then like, I ain't gonna tip, like, bro, like, you gotta respect that. That's another thing that like changed my perception. I like how you broke that down though, because you broke down the thing that drives them being each, like the nights that drive the most money, but they weren't for all the same reason, and that was what was interesting to me. Like the country and rock nights was because it was like the older heads, and the older heads like tip more, and that's what they draw. But then the EDM nights is different because it's the drugs and like all the other stuff that people are on.
They're just trying to stay turned.
Like they come to prepare to spend like as much as they can on $4 waters. You know what I'm saying? Like
waters, and then drinks, bro. Like all these like specialty drinks like AMFs, Tequila Sunrise, bro. They all want all those EDM shows, and then mainly like Vodka Red Bull, that's like killing it, and Tequila Sprite, they kill it. And then sometimes beer, but beer's like the rock shows. Like you can get the demographic.
But you get a fire tip at the rock show. You know?
Can you break that?
Punk. I mean not punk. Like punk or rock shows. Like you get hella tips because they just drank beer, straight beer,
just tips,
and beer and whiskey, and like they just be tipping because they coming back. They're like, oh, I fuck with this dude. Like I'm gonna come back, tip them, and they tip more every single time. Exactly. Shit's crazy.
Can you break that down a little bit more, like the different types of alcohol for the different types of music?
So like rock and punk is mainly beer. Country would be beer, and then like we just had like Bjork came for 3 days.
Bjork, bro. I've said her name wrong. I always say Bjork.
I think I said it before, but I think it's Bjork.
It is Bjork, but it looked like a Bjork.
No, but like Bjork. Bjork was a lot, good nights for beer, but it was a lot of wine. We went through. I think for each night we went through.
That's so fire, bro.
Yeah, each night we ran through 10 cases of red wine. We sold a lot of white wine, but 10 cases of red wine, and then we had to keep on ordering every day. And bro, it was. I never sold so much wine because every 10 minutes, like, oh, I need another bottle of wine. And I'm like, bro, like,
because I fucking love wine, and like I see how somehow like I get how that fits, but it's like I'm almost surprised and happy that fits. You know what I mean? Because it's like I don't listen to Bjork like that, but I know like the genre she's in, and I know like the people that are kind of inspired by her. Like she's kind of on the alternative side of things, of like electro shit. Like I would feel like I'll put her in the category of like what's LCD.
LCD sound system,
like, you know what I mean, like that type of like sound and stuff. Like was Lil Dragon or some people like that, you know. But I'm surprised that like it's kind of like Madlib, you know what I mean? How like and Stones Throw, how like I feel like a night where they're performing, you sell a lot of wine too, because they're like into that type of shit. Like Egon and Madlib, they like collected, they be sipping wine on stage, like, and it's weird because it's like I'm just trying to figure out that connection, bro, like between the fans, because I would think it's also older heads. But like you just described, like older heads sometimes depending on the music could be sipping whiskey and beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that music, the type of older head that's into that music, because Bjork is older. She came out like a long time ago. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, here's my question: what is the demographic changing significantly for these? I mean, I'm assuming so. For
like, I feel like beer, it's always been sold, but like there's certain nights, and then like tequila, we sell a lot of Don Julio. I think at least 5 or 6 cases of Don Julio a night. But like they do change. EDM is like it's a lot of hard alcohol, like sometimes beer and a lot of water. And then rock is just beer. So like we'll run through kegs. They got us running, switching kegs every fucking 20 or 30.
Wine is just not a common stay.
No, and then like it also depends on like where the location is, because we have like 3 not like locations, but like in the venue there's like the expo hall, the auditorium, and then the west lot. So like when we have festivals at the west lot, that's outside, like I think a lot of beer is sold, because I swear to God, every time we'll set those up, and if you feel like we don't bring enough, we're not gonna sell enough beer, like we're not gonna sell that much beer, so we're gonna bring this amount of kegs, and then like the night comes on, bro, and then we have to run through the whole venue, and then it's crowded, like people are coming in, people are smoking outside, and we have to run through all of them, and I'm like, damn, like we fucked up, because even our manager got mad because she started calling us and texting us like, where we at, like we're trying to get kegs, like we fucking miscalculated, like, and then like I think it was for MGK, like we didn't think we were gonna sell that much beer, and then we sold a lot of alcohol and beer. I was like, bro,
I see
what?
how that could be a thin line though, right there at the MGK show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we didn't know
projections could like miss a line. Going off of like just what a lot of people talk about, like it's just hard to predict anything in general. Like you don't know how shit's gonna turn out, the night, the factors. But I could see how just what you go off in that business is projections, and then what you look at, I could see how they could miss a line. You know, being like MGK, younger crowd, you know what I'm saying? But then also thinking like not factoring in like it still could be a big, large white college frat crowd. You know what I mean? Like
there was a lot of girls there,
or it could be a lot of girls. You know what I'm saying? Who are in these? Like it could be a lot of other factors that play to then it being a night where a lot of beer is ordered.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
But I get how like just going off base models and like past shit, the same way you do it like case law, you could be like, well, whenever we have somebody that gains this many fans or has this many people, is doing this size stadiums, they garner about this many people, and they're in, you know what I mean? There's a lot of other factors they could probably pull from, because this shit's been done, and be like, all right, well, but I can see how that shit could end you sometimes being like, damn, I didn't know all this shit was gonna line up all at the same time.
Yeah, that's how it was at like our last show, because like my manager was like, I don't even know what type, like they're DJs, but we don't know what type of crowd it was, so like she should just prepare for anything, because like we had like a meeting, like because like the bartenders sometimes like we butt heads with the barbacks and stuff, like they be talking shit about us, we be talking shit about them, and then like our managers want to make sure like we don't know what type of crowd it is, so just make sure we have extra of everything. You know what the basics are. We need extra case of Tito's at every bar, Don Julio, extra kegs. So like we just gotta prepare. That's like on our side, like, and like that,
for like shit that you probably think happened.
Yeah, think what happened. Yeah, it is hard.
A little bit
because
of
sometimes
like
I bring
intuition.
too much of something, and then the other thing goes like.
I like that though, because it gives you a little bit of like sauce with it, where you like, nah, I have experience, bro. Like I already know today they gonna run out of this. They gonna run out of this.
Oh yeah.
Speaking on that, what is the most like common thing? Because you guys get like a lot of people that come through there. So what's like the most common? Like you were already naming some drinks earlier, but like
Don
from
Julio,
like
you said,
yeah, the
Don Julio,
Julio,
tequila
the
Sprite is
Tito's.
like the main, like
what
one of
other
the main
alcohols you're saying like are in that
yeah,
range?
the alcohols, or even just like garnishes, like little things like that. Like what's the little stuff that like people don't like acknowledge, but you guys just go through like
Limes.
crazy amounts of limes.
We run out of limes all the fucking time, bro. We have limes and lemons. We barely touch the lemons and we just waste them, and then the limes they go through like every night, and then there's some nights where we just don't go with limes because we couldn't order them the day of or day before, and we just don't run with limes, and then the bartenders get all antsy. They're like, we don't have any limes, like blah blah blah, and they're not gonna like tip us out, like, cause like, bro, you think that's our fault? Like, bro, what?
It's crazy that limes would cause this much shit, bro. Like you wouldn't think like,
bro, some stupid shit.
The limes back here causing some stress. You know what I mean? You're like, you're like limes. What?
Well, shit, you ever pull up to a bar and you try to get a drink and they don't have a lime for your drink?
Low key, it do
You'd
be like a little
hot,
moment of confusion, though. Like you do
Yeah.
look like, damn, like it's all this salt and other shit up here, but no limes.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, here's a lemon. I'm like, hey, it don't hit the same.
We got another one for real.
But I was gonna say though, I did have a question about what was your favorite show you ever worked and the favorite show you ever like got to watch while working. Cause I feel like that's two different things. Like the favorite one you had the best time like working, like where it was like, you know what I'm saying, I was getting paid, it was a good time, like, or the time where it was like the best show you got to see.
It
like,
was, I think both of these shows or the shits I worked with was SG Lewis and K Tronada. I swear to God, like we made the most money both those nights because we had K Tronada 3 times, and then like LSG Lewis we had once. I wish we had him because that's the most money we made that night. But like SG Lewis, like, I didn't know what type of music. Like I've heard like a couple songs, but like the music was beautiful, and then like the crowd was like, we made a lot of money, but they were hella chill. Like, and K
I
Tronada,
could see K Tronada hella being like that.
bro, K Tronada was like chill, but it was like hype. Like it was just lit. Like he was just, cause like his stage or his little thing, he was in the middle of the crowd and shit was spinning, and like he was going crazy. I was like, bro, I was turning out. I was like, bro, this shit hard as fuck. But like that was one of the best experiences. Like I was like, and we had him 3 days. And I'm like, bro, I already know what to expect. And we had him on Halloween. He dressed up too. I was like, a lot of people in the that came to the concert dressed up. I was like, that shit's so cool. Like that was probably one of the best experiences.
That was for sure a poppin' weekend. I remember hearing about that. Like those are the nights. Those nights were low key coveted. I remember people hyping up those performances because it was like just him coming to LA on his tour for his last album, and it was like 3 dates. So he had a lot of opportunities to see him and shit. So I also like speaking on how when I saw him at Coachella like that past year, and I feel like it looked like that vibe. You know what I mean? Where it kind of looked like a party. You know what I mean? Like people were just kind of like coming and going, just kind of just having their good time. And I feel like that could be like a good vibe to see live type shit and be there and see the beat. It's like you in the turn up. Like I'm at the bar. Yeah. I'm buying their drinks, going back out. Like that's probably the fire spot to be at a K Tronada show.
No, for sure.
Honestly, that's dope. That's hella dope that you got to see that. Any other good shows other than that?
Nah, most of them are like EDM. Like I don't like EDM, but like I can listen to it. Like it's cool. Like when I'm there, like it's cool to see all people jumping. But like most of the stuff is like alternative. I'm not really into alternative stuff like that. And then like some of them are like Bjork. Like we have like those most random shows. But other than that,
have you ever seen like what's the most randomest hip hop show you've seen there?
I don't know. It's not their we don't really haven't really had hip hop besides like MGK. But like other than that, like, and MGK didn't even play that much hip hop. He played a lot of his like.
That's why I would feel like it had to be like random. If there was one, it had to be like somebody that just snuck in there on some shenanigans.
No, because we're with Wolfgang Puck, so like they have the Shrine, the Novo, and there's like two or three other ones, and then most of them
go to the Novo.
Yeah, most of the hip hop shows go to the Novo.
Figured that the Novo stay with hip hop shows on deck.
And then like my manager's like, nah, we don't really want those hip hop shows because they know it's not gonna bring that much revenue in. But Novo because it's a little smaller, and they just give all the shows to them.
It's just because it's young heads or what?
Not even just young heads. I think it's because the venue's smaller. Because we could fit a lot of big EDM. Because EDM's not like for Novo. They wouldn't put an EDM show at Novo. They would put it at like some type of.
I think that plays into it somewhat though, only because say if you're a younger act or if you're those type of acts, you might want to do an all ages show because you want to garner the most you can money wise and shit like that. So then it could attract the people that aren't going to spend that much money.
But no, the most weirdest concert that we had was 100 Gex though.
Oh, I remember. Talk about that. I remember you talking about that. How was that?
Nah, bro.
How was like, the people?
The people.
What kind of alcohol was they drinking? And then what was they like? Like, did they have openers? Did they have like before they got to their weird bag? Like
they had one opener, some kid. I don't know. I forget who it was, but like I don't know. Like it was just a young crowd, and then like the people are there. It was. I ain't never seen some shit like that. It was just all types of crowd. Like I'm not gonna speak on it, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Probably the craziest fits, huh?
Bro. I'm not even. I don't even gonna speak. Like you already know.
The fits probably were wild, bro.
No,
like,
but even the fits for Bjork was crazy. People put up with some crazy ass shit, but like that crowd, like nah.
Weirder.
Like, it was so weird because the music, because I had never listened to them, and like, bro, I couldn't even understand what they were like.
Sounds like sped up blender music.
Yeah,
you know
bro.
What I mean? But like in a good way.
I don't know.
Can you actually break that down a little bit, like the different fits for the different types of genres that you see? Like, is there stuff where people come more like dripped out for
EDM? I would assume, right?
EDM people come out like
they love to dress up,
like half naked. These girls and another dress, and they dress up too. Like just depends.
Yeah, they'll be half naked while dressing up. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, and then have a bunch of shit on your head, like.
Yeah, I mean like the extra stuff, like.
No, but like it was crazy because Bjork, like a lot of people were coming in professional, and then like there was just those outliers that were just coming out with some crazy ass fit, like a jumpsuit, like wearing all this like makeup and like doing some crazy shit, like because Bjork is like on that same shit.
She comes out on.
She was on that same shit, so like they're trying to be like her. I was like, and then 100 Gex was like everybody's
See,
in a
that's the
costume.
funny thing. Were they in costume? And that's probably what made it weirder. Where they probably weren't in costume and people was just in costume.
Yeah, they were just
See,
on
that
some
would
real
confuse
shit.
me. That would confuse me. It's like
Bro.
they're dressed regular, and then people are here just like, I'm getting my weird shit on.
Yeah, that's the type of music they be out listening to. So like, it makes sense though.
No, like, but like I get you on the other tip of like, in some sets, like the people dress up and it reflects them. Like the dress reflects like the artist. You
The
know,
artist.
similar to like it's
Exactly.
interesting when like the music reflects the dress, but the artist doesn't reflect the dress of the music. You know what I mean? Like they just be up there t-shirt, shorts, but it'd be like some real weird shit.
Nah, but like 100 Grecs, they were in some crazy ass shit. That's why I understood. Like, I know what they on. I know what type of time
They're like the music's gonna speak for itself. Like, that's funny,
exactly.
man. All right, but I did have a side tangent because I mean this is something another thing we wouldn't have ever had the chance to talk about, but I want to get your perspective on is what do you think about the Once Upon a Time festival, or like what did you think about how it was ran, like from a perspective of being like somebody that was like I guess could see like what it takes to run a festival, or like as far as like the setup and like I heard that like at least from even that perspective outside of the unfortunate events like that happened as far as like someone losing their life, like I heard that like the running of the festival wasn't ran like a regular festival. Like
I don't think it was ran right because I feel like you know, like how are you trying to get drinks? Like I don't think those lines should even be close to that long.
No, I've heard it from other people too. Like other people were talking about like how
Bro, like,
that's
it
the
literally
worst
looks like a
concert
crowd.
experience they've like been to.
But it looks
type
like a
shit.
crowd. Like it wasn't ran well, and then like just like, path to travel. Like that's how we think of things. That from a bar back, I feel like it was just too much for them. And then you already see the unfortunate events about what happened. But like I don't know, I didn't really think it was well ran. It's funny though because Live Nation used to what's it called? They ran at the Wiltern. That's who the people we were working with for the production, like for the concerts. So that's just tripping to me because like
that happened to them, and they were the ones that you originally worked with.
Yeah.
That then you had to dip to get to the new job.
yeah, exactly. Because we work with Golden Voice now, and they did day in Vegas.
Damn, see, they're meant to be smoking.
Yeah.
Not
They
gonna
do
lie.
Coachella too, though.
Yeah,
don't
they do all those. They do all the festivals.
That's sick.
It's
I think
crazy.
they're doing the one that I think they're probably doing the one that I'm trying to go to in New York. What's it called?
Not Made in America. Governor's
Ball.
Yeah.
I feel like it's Governor's Ball. I used to always think that they're the same people as Coachella, so I think it's Golden Voice as well. But I gotta double check.
Yeah, that shit's crazy though. It just shows you the difference of how shit's ran, and I'm like, bro, like.
Nah, this shit's running good, bro. Like I remember when I went to Outside Lands, just their beer setup. They have a beer like land.
That was ill. That thing was so
Like
sick.
you know what I mean, like that, and it was smooth. None of the lines were crazy. Like they weren't like every line was kind of chill.
That was dope. I wish outside that. So speaking on that, from a production side of it, I kind of actually want to ask you guys for your perspectives. What's like your favorite festival or festivals from like the production side? Because I feel like sometimes we talk about like
Like
our
our
favorite,
best sets.
yeah,
and,
our
like,
favorite like music
that-
that we go to, but now more so from like just going it for what the festival is.
Because that is such a big part of the festival is itself, like, because a festival is different than a concert, where it's like a part of the main part of the production. That's like a main part of the experience. You know what I'm saying? Like how
Or it
like,
could even be a concert if like a certain concert was ran in a certain way. Like I'm curious to see what's like your guys' favorite thing that you've gone
I'd
to
say
that you were
one,
just like, wow, this
one
was
that I could say
put so well
is
together.
really like up there, but I feel like maybe the bigger ones like topped it with like just their budget wise with what they could do was Camp Flogna. Camp Flogna up there
I
for
didn't.
me.
I never went, so I was gonna say like that's probably one of the best
That was
productions
probably
over
the
there.
best ones I've seen put on, but like I'd say maybe like Outside Lands in some ways like had more budget to do more vast stuff. Like obviously like being in a fucking national park, like you know what I'm saying. Like that's the only way I could see like that shit kind of leveling it up. Like the fact that like it was like massive type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that part about it is like a big part of the production of it, and it wasn't set up like on some fucked up shit. Like you could get around. You know what I mean? But it was like big at Outside Lands. They had shit in between the forest where you could find like little like fucking like actual Alice in Wonderland.
Oh,
Fools acting, and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it felt like you was in some real Lord of the Rings shit. Like, and I feel like, but going to Camp Flogna, the carnivals and the way that the stages were set up was the smoothest setup I've seen as far as like just transport between stages and then transport between like the food and the carnival and vibes. Like they had like a DJ set in the middle, which was perfect because it was just like that shit wasn't even a part of the lineup. It was just would just be hard extra DJs that they would just add for vibe. Like you would even, you know what I mean? They wouldn't include that and take it out of your names that you came to see. That was just like in between. And there they had food and all the carnival shits nearby that, but also they had carnival rides like close to the stages, like a Ferris wheel close to each stage, and then one of them would be like near the main rides. All the rides were free. which was finesse. You know what I'm saying? So once you get the ticket, you can go on the rides all day. I remember going on the little boat that goes this way, going on the thing that spins you. I went on mad different stuff, bro, like on that thing at those times. Like, I feel like it was set up in a way where that was one of the first festivals I went to where they weren't tripping, and you knew they weren't tripping on nothing you were doing as far as, like, you know, whatever you want to get into, smoking weed, whatever. Like, they just weren't up in your space. It was very much so, like, hippie vibes. Like, and I was like, damn, this is chill, you know what I mean? Like, but it was because the environment there was really, like, how do I say, like, it wasn't like Woodstock, but it was like this new festival we about to go to that's like an old one I learned about, Smoking Grooves. It was like,
where's that?
So it's a festival that's about to be, they used to do it at the Long Beach arena over there.
Oh, bro, that boat?
Queen Mary.
Yeah.
They used to do it over there, but it was a concert called Smoking Grooves. Back in the day, it used to be a tour, which is wild, bro. Some of these concerts literally used to be fucking tours. Isn't that crazy? Like, back then in like the 90s, they would go to like city to city with this shit, like the way they do Rolling Loud.
I don't know that.
You know what I'm saying?
Mind Tree Radio.
Hey, it works?
I have no idea.
That worked.
I haven't touched it since.
See, I was thinking maybe we didn't give it the old plug in trick, you know? I was maybe like hoping that might have worked. Yeah, this works. That's the low one. That's the deep one. I'm just doing it all sub like a bitch now because I'm scared of it. I'm like,
We got another one.
instead of like really doing it, I'm like, I don't
was tripping
want
out
to do
last
it too
time,
hard and then it breaks again, though. That was some bullshit.
I don't know what was wrong with it, but hey, at least it's working
All
out.
right.
That's all that
So,
matters.
welcome back to Vine Tree Radio. It's your boy West here, chilling with Mauriwowi, and today we finna to get into the life affirmations because we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we still tapped in, still got the video, still got the audio. We talked a lot about our concert experiences, got to share a little bit about, you know, our favorite concerts, but also the production behind our favorite concerts. I mean, in short, if you guys did want to give a quick summary about, you know, some of your favorite, the production behind your favorite concerts, you could do that. But then after that, we'll probably just get into the life affirmation segment, and we'll talk about one thing that we look at differently in the past, like, month or 2 weeks or year, and we all just go around and share one. But I mean, before we get into that, you know, I get some time to think about mine. You guys could, if you do want to talk a little bit about just some of the concerts that had the best, you know, production that you've been to. I know you had talked to me a little bit about some of the ones you've been to, and then you talked about some of the ones you went to. You guys could let them know.
You can go first.
I guess to run them off real quick, I know ones that really stood out to me are Flogna, like we were talking about, Outside Lands. I love the ambiance that it has there, that it's set out in the woods. It's got a huge venue, but it almost seems filled to the brim in certain aspects of, like, it has local vendors, big local vendors putting out, you know, really delicious food, delicious drinks. They have the beer garden, which is like this setup that I'd never seen at a music festival before, where it had like a bunch of, from my understanding, local like breweries that were bringing in like 1 or 2 beers each to like sell there, and they just had probably like, I don't even know how many breweries, maybe like 20, 30. Super sick. That combined with the good vibes there made it a really good time, minus a couple technical difficulties with like the restrooms, where it kind of created like some, like you were saying, Woodstock 99 vibes.
Yeah, people reliving their youth.
Yeah.
Peeing on the floor, pooping on the floor. You know how it go.
Exactly. You know, so that kind of gave it a little bit of a damper. But then we also, one thing I wanted to talk about was just small venues. I had one show at the Warehouse that I think is really sick. I love the idea that it's in a very like intimate yet very unfamiliar feeling place, a place that keeps you kind of questioning, like in general, like everything about it, both inside and out, and then but that mixed with like the amazing production that went on to have it just like everyone came here, boom, we had a good show, and then it's gone, and it's just like, where did this even go? What happened here? Like, I loved that little aspect of like a pop-up show almost. And then gotta give huge shout out to Coachella, and I think they have probably the most that I've been to well oiled, in the sense of like how it's run and also the ambiance that they create with the camping experience. I think that's really sick.
I see some motherfucking shit.
Shit, for me, I think day and night before it turned into Day Vegas was probably one of my best experience at a concert. That's when Travis Scott was big, and then he was performing on a bird. Like, that was the craziest shit I've ever seen. So, like, but other than that, like, I'm not really into EDM, but EDC was probably one of the best, like, festivals I've ever been to. It was well ran. It was easy to get to places. You know, they had maps and stuff where to go. Like, they've been doing it for years, so they know what's going on. They find out the eras every year in, year out. But, like, and then especially working where I'm at, being a barback, so, like, I see how shit's being ran, and then I feel like I look at a different perspective on it. So, like how shit's ran, like, at these most recent concerts, like Once Upon a Time, like, it was like
it's like night and day in comparison to like EDC or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like, it doesn't even compare, because they've been doing it, and then Once Upon a Time that was their first time, and then of course Live Nation was running it, so like they had some technical difficulties and all the unfortunate events. So it just gives me a different perspective on things like that. That's about it for me.
Got you. So EDC, Camp Flogna. I would say only other ones I had on the list, because I shared some with you, Outside Lands. I also shared Coachella. I would say was a big one for me. The art installations, I didn't get to talk about that. I really liked how they had the NASA space station with like monkeys in it, but they told me they have similar stuff like that actually at Escape and other raves and shit like this. Like, they're kind of big on that same art installation vibe. So that was something that I guess I got a taste of there, got to experience. Other than that, haven't had much crazy concert production experiences other than those big festivals. Maybe like some small stuff. I remember Steez Day was pretty cool when I was young. My first concert going to, it was cool on the idea that it was in a venue, and like, but it didn't have much to it. I guess it was still early fest. So yeah. Now for life affirmations, I did get to think a little bit. You know what I'm saying, about something I look at differently. And I guess one thing I'm going to talk about this week is performances. I think I look at, like, performing and the aspect of it a little differently. Like, I knew somewhat what work it took into it, I guess. But I feel like now I look at it as more like something that you have to practice to even know what you want to perform, basically. Like, I feel like I start to understand different aspects of performing, like, rather than just, like, the aspect of, like, sport. When it comes to just like sports and stuff, where it's like you gotta like learn the skill of it and different stuff like that. Like, I've learned that, like, even when performing, there's like other, I guess, things to consider the same way you have to consider in a song, like outside of when it feels good and shit like that, and like your final product of it, because it's a performance the same way it's like people pay to see your performance or whatever. Like, it's like a product in that same way. So it's like then there's adjustments you got to make on it based on all regards. I guess that's something that I've been thinking about as like someone who hasn't performed that much in their life, but have been like kind of like publicly in front of other people, but have been like, you know, rapping and performing in some way in front of other people. So I've been trying to learn how to like transfer that shit to the next level. And I feel like a part of it has been understanding that a part of performance is like, one, being comfortable, one, letting go, but then one, like getting good enough at it or memorizing it enough to like know which ones you can stand strong on, I guess, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's like a show, like on some magician shit. You know what I'm saying? You have different tricks or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like, but there's ones that you're better at, and I guess that's like just knowing which one's like your go-to trick and which one's not. I think that's something I've learned to incorporate in performing, is being like, all right, you got to look at certain shit as like the one. You know what I mean? You got to look at certain shit as like, you want to kill to the best of its ability, but like you got to have these ones that like have this certain element to them that like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. No. I do know what you mean. I feel like, and I feel like it's I know what you mean in the sense that wanting to like perfect that performance is like hard, because it's a matter of letting go. You know what I mean? And like in that, I feel like sometimes, like you're saying, it's like that letting go it's hard because like you're trying to find that comfort zone first, but to practice is to get to that comfort zone. But even in practicing and finding that one that is your go-to, I feel like the difficult is that sometimes, like, at least what I've seen, like, experience with other artists, is that sometimes their go-to isn't necessarily the one that resonates the most with them. And so, like, the one that you can perform the best isn't always the one that you like the best necessarily. And I don't know if this is speaking for you, like I'm speaking for like me, or like,
so I guess I was
from
really saying
experience.
go-to is the other one.
Yeah, it's like something that you can
the
perform
one that
well.
I kind of feel the best versus like the one I like the most. Because
But
there's
I'm
songs
saying
I
the
like the
difficulty,
most.
but that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to get at. And the difficulty in that is that because some songs like are performable really well, like that can take away from some artists, because I can see how that as well as like another little variable that kind of adds to it, is like not only just the difficulty in practicing of finding a good song, but finding a good song that you feel comfortable like saying over and over. Because like there's a song, like there might be, I can't,
Yeah,
like
that's
I'm
an
saying.
aspect that's a part of it. Like I understand that aspect of like the comfortability in what song like you're gonna perform and shit. Like that's another aspect of performing for sure. I feel like there's a part about it that has to do with the idea of like feeling comfortable with it on the other regard that you mentioned, like on killing it. I guess that was kind of what I was like speaking on.
Yeah.
But I understand that like there's a, you know, like even performing, like there's songs where it's like you like them and you enjoy them, but it's like then getting comfortable performing them is a whole different like experience, I guess, and like ball game for sure.
Because I feel like with the songs that, at least, because like I said, I can only speak on my experience or what I've like heard like other artists like express about this, is like if the song just resonates more with you or with me, like it allows me to kind of like, in a sense, let go easier with it. Maybe that's like the sense of comfortability. Maybe because like one sense of comfortability is like practicing it enough to where it's just like having it down like the back of your hand, but an also sense of like finding
Like,
that comfortability is the comfortability where it just resonates with you and like it just hits home, and so like that allows you to kind of like push forward.
I understand that. Yeah, but I definitely think that there's a certain level of like, how do I say, like scariness that kind of can confuse the fact of like when you get so into something or too much into something, your ability to convey your emotions sometimes gets loose. And sometimes while there's a benefit within that, that's kind of what I'm speaking on, is that like that's what I've been somewhat having a second thought on, that while I usually feed off of that to perform the best, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've learned that like I guess there's some parts of that I can't control when I feed off of that the best, that come to the idea of like someone paying for a performance. Like while they might want to see this in its raw form, they might want to see me be able to control them. And like when you see J. Cole, like they come to see him because he can do that, but he knows how to use all of that shit like very purposefully and just give it back to you in the way like you want it. You know what I mean? Like where it's like in the stew, he might be shooting shit across the board like straight ass crying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like while he's recording a song, but then when he does it, like performance wise, it's like he has that shit in his back pocket at this point. While you know what I'm saying, like he probably got motivated by that factor. I guess that's my revelation, and it is just that like I get the I see that there's a certain level of like ability. There's an uncertainty within that maybe does drive you to always like kill it, but then there might be some things you miss in that pursuit. You know what I'm saying? Because it pushes you that way, so you're like, well, whatever comes out, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna feel that because it was real. You know what I'm saying? And it transferred in it. You know what I'm saying? But then there's also a part of that where it's like you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get to perfect that somewhat.
I feel you.
You know, and I feel like that's the difficult part about performances, because you want to perfect them a little bit, and you're like, okay, I want to add in this to it, but sometimes you're just like, damn, do I fuck it up overthinking or thinking too much about what I'm doing in it? You know what I'm saying? Is it better when you don't think? You know what I'm saying? And that's the dual sword with it. But I think my point in it was that like I've always felt like, you know, at least letting go gets you to that shining little moment, but like I've learned that in performances I have to kind of get deeper than that, than just that being, you know, I guess my thing. I gotta look into like, well, what songs can you know what I'm saying, what's my go-to for that? Like, you know, like I know my go-to feel song is, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna get me to like this zone, but like what's my go-to like I know it song?
I feel you. It's an interesting struggle. It's a hard struggle, huh?
You know, because most of my shit is like go-to feel shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like shit that's like, okay, like, you know, I could just try to get back into that, and then you'll see me do that again. Like,
Yeah.
What about you, G?
You want to make me go first?
Oh shit, you want to go first?
Oh, never mind.
Shit, I'll go. In the past year, I just been thinking about like just work, and then you know how we brought out like the production, like seeing how it goes through. I think about like how I work. So like we do all this work for the venue, and then for our managers, and then for the bartenders, and then we get cut off short since we went cashless. I feel like we've been doing more work than we've done before, and then getting paid less. So I feel like I'm just trying to just work on myself and just try to keep my cool. I feel like keeping my cool is just gonna keep me standing, just chilling, because like the last, like we had like 3 or 4 shows in the past 2 weeks, and then I feel like everybody's butting heads, like, and I feel like everybody's not on the same page as was in November, where we were making money, everybody's happy, we're all happy, and then I swear like the bartenders at my job, they always have something to say. That's just how it is. So like, and then they tell the managers, and then the managers tell us, and then like I feel like they're just saying that just because they're not making enough money, which they are. Like they're so greedy, like it's actually insane. Because we look at all the what's it called, all their tip outs and stuff like that, and then they want to complain about this, they want to complain about that, and I'm like, we're doing the best we can. Like I can't do anything else. Like we did everything to perfection, and then you just want to tear us down. Like, and then our managers want to tear us down, and then want to side with them when they're supposed to be siding with us. Like that shit don't make sense to me. And then I don't know. Like I just feel like it hurts me a little bit, but like you just gotta keep going. It's like with life. Like people want to tear you down, and then like what you gotta do, you're gonna get back up, or you're just gonna stay down there. So you just gotta get back up and just keep working. I'm just gonna keep working, and then hopefully I might be moving something bigger. Hopefully like we'll do something in production, or like just something in music. I feel like that's something I want to get into in the next year, like being able to make music or make beats or something like that. Because just off work, seeing all the production, seeing all these concerts and different type of music I've been seeing, like I just like, damn, like that's kind of one of the lifestyle I want to be in the next few years or so.
That's dope. Well, I mean, that's dope on that end, but that's also not dope on the other end of like, I feel you, like how you were saying, feeling exploited and like used by management and by the bartenders. And that's one of my, like I shared that as well, like that same kind of gripe when I worked in like the restaurant industry. Like I feel like in so many aspects of it, there's so many times where management and even people who are quote unquote above you, whether you're going to call the bartenders above you in like the sense of like, you know, positioning wise of like, you know, staffing, but like the way that they kind of like take advantage of the other positions is ridiculous. And it's so shitty because like you're saying, like more often than not, the people that are on like the support side of things are the ones kind of holding the ship down, you know what I mean? They're the ones actually kind of doing most of the work, doing most of like the dirty work, doing most of like the manual labor stuff, the stuff that's actually tiring, stuff that's actually like more physically intensive in my opinion than like what, you know, bartenders or like servers get off with, like in that sense of like, and then at the end of the day, like getting paid less and getting like not only that but willingly paid less, because it's interesting because in your job you're specifying that they tip you out, you know what I mean? So they specify how much they want to, and so like that ability to choose is kind of like, it's even more hurtful because it's like, oh, so you're seeing me go through this, but you're still physically choosing to like,
and it's crazy though, because like it's crazy because with the old bartenders and the new bartenders they appreciate us all the time. That makes me feel good. And it's always the old bartenders that have the most shit to say, and it's crazy because they're buddy with the managers, and then they want to talk all that shit about us, and then we find out, and then they don't want to say shit to our face. Like, bro, like y'all some grown ass men, grown ass adults.
A lot of people just want to keep up like the old guard when it comes to a lot of jobs and businesses and shit like that. I've noticed is like it don't have anything to do with like you or like them not, or like people not doing the job, which is what annoys me in those type of situations, because it don't really have nothing to do with like shit that they need to get their job done. It just has to do with shit being the way they enjoyed it being or wanted it being, and it's staying that way. And I feel like that's a lot of people's fucking issues. That change is like a part of things. Like you said, there's other new people that like, you know what I'm saying? They know change is a part of things because it's new. They're not. They don't have no set way of being there where it's like I'm used to it being this way. This is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's usually what ruffles people's feathers most of the part, and that's why it's an annoying thing because you know people feel like, why does that affect me? But it's because people will go above and beyond to like uphold a fucking guard in a situation or uphold some shit to like what it used to be. You know what I mean? They'll be like, well, this is how we always do things. Like, be like, but this is the way they're doing it now, nigga. Like,
exactly.
fuck you.
Exactly.
That's so true, though. So true. Damn. Well, shit. As far as what I've been thinking on lately, I had this moment actually earlier today. I was like lying down on the floor with Shadow, and it was like beautiful sunny day. It was windy. We were just chilling on like the floor right here, and like I was looking out and thinking to myself, and like this was a beautiful moment, and I love this moment. That's like just this little moment of relaxation, of enjoying this right now. But then I realized that like my life, whether I like it or not, is gonna have like drastic changes in like the next like month or two, and like as far as like being able to enjoy these little moments here while I'm like in Santa Clarita, and like, or even just like have like certain moments of free, like quote unquote free time, it's trying to like savor them, and like I've kind of been on that wave here and there, but like today really kind of like settled it in, because like time is flying faster than you see it, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where before you blink and it's already been a week, you blink again and it's been a month, you know, and like time is just gone. And like all these moments where like you could have, not to say that I haven't enjoyed like Santa Clarita and Los Angeles to the fullest, but like there's just certain moments of like just reflecting and thinking like, have I like taken the most to savor them like in every aspect? Because you just like, even if, not to say that I'll never come back here, that like, because I doubt that I probably wouldn't spend more than like a few months or beyond a couple of years before I'd come back to visit for some reason here in any time frame. But within that, you just never know like how fast life can change and life can go, and it's just kind of like more so on like savoring the moment, you know, and like realizing like this all can just go so fast. So like whatever you're in at the like whatever the moment is, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the ride. Yeah, that was my life affirmation. But yeah. Thank you, bro, for coming along.
Appreciate it, man.
Having this talk with us.
Shit, shout out to Vine Tree, straight
We've
up.
been doing a lot of pods. One thing I noticed about Mauricio's life affirmations is he talks really slow.
It's because
It's only during the life affirmations. Like, it's not like he does it the whole pod. It's only during the life affirmations.
I've been trying to slow down a little bit, just because I feel like in slowing down, it lets me think a little bit more, and kind of like, because I have a problem. And I get, maybe this is a two for life affirmation, but
I didn't know if you were just doing it on purpose to be more like thematical and shit.
I am
you know?
doing not thematical, but I'm doing it to be more like on, I guess, like I said, like a two for life affirmation. Like this is something that I've been focusing on, is that like I've been told that I can, when I get too into something, I can start talking a little too fast or get too amped up, and I feel like that kind of holds me. By purposefully slowing myself down, it kind of helps keep me from getting too amped up into things and allowing me to articulate myself better, because I feel like sometimes what I say gets lost in translation, and that's like a common thread that I've had like across my life always. And I know that sometimes it's often a result because I can start talking too fast, and when I talk too fast, I say too many things too quick that like it kind of throw things
that's easy money to understand,
you know. And
I think the only thing I just
so I've been just
focusing
on that
is just that the idea of like within the pod, the only thing that makes me notice it is just sometimes I notice that like sometimes when I'm talking in the pod, I'm less concerned about what do you call it, comprehension, or what's it called, like my intention of what I'm saying, like hitting, which is the thing that, you know, gets stifled when you start to speak fast, as you mentioned, you know what I'm saying? When I'm more sometimes be thinking about like, I just think I just like, and I have to slow myself down because I think in pod brain of like when I listen back, I just take the cringes there, but a lot of times it's like I feel like I'm really more focused on how I sound because I make music and all that shit. Like, you've seen this in conversations, like it's more so about the way things are positioned and how they hit off how they sound versus sometimes like when my actual meaning gets through. Like, I guess I don't beat myself up about that as much. I feel like that happens to me all the time, like what you're saying, but not maybe because I'm being fast, more so because I'm focused more so on like how it's being said, like on some pod brain shit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I don't know, that's my gripe about myself, is like sometimes I could just be like a flashy talker, like the way I word the words, where it's like it may not land what I meant to say, but it sounded good, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like when I'm on the pod, like I lean towards shit like that, but I know what comes with it. It's that, you know what I mean? And that's what comes with it. It's just like what I'm saying sometimes, like I'm not taking the time for it to come out and hit the exact way. I'm more so worried about it like it looking cool, you know what I'm saying? Like me saying it cool versus where it's like it gets lost in translation, as you said sometimes. Like sometimes what I'm saying gets lost in translation in the goal of like trying to say it a certain way or use certain cool examples, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So it's like I feel you on that, you know? Or it's like I guess sometimes I'm more focused on that than I am the other part, when I could like slow down and try to focus on the other part. But I guess it's more so just like entertainment wise, like that's where my brain goes. It's just like I feel like that just adds the punch and everything, you know? Like more than like the facts or like the meaning. It's just like if it sounds right and it hits right, like I'm just like that's the punch. Like I don't know, that's just where my brain lies. But it's for that, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like it's for that reasoning of like I guess trying to get some shit to land, but then my brain goes there, like you said, like when you try to speed up to try to get it all there, but then for some reason it creates something else. You know what I'm saying? It's like for some reason then it creates like it goes this way instead of like going to direct there, because I'm like trying to use some shit to get you there that's like took you here.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a good pod.
It was a good pod. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Catch you next time.
Vine Tree Radio.
Hey, this ain't look, bitch. This ain't. Oh man, I thought of some shit real quick. Hey, this ain't luck, bitch. This persistence. I thought of a dream and then I lived it. I put my all into this pen, dog. I put my brain into these stems, y'all. They can't see me growing now, right? I'm waving out, they can't see me like peace signs and middle fingers, all I know now. I move around with the team, that's how it go down. Cause this world is cold and everybody wants your soul on the platter, but I told them look a little closer. You could see that something new in this plan, they trying to kill your soul too. So I told them to join the game, but they don't want to see the plan like a motherfucker. So I flipped it, got it back, you know I'm funny, son. Woo. Damn, you know I'm from the gutter. I'ma find a way to get it, I ain't lying, sucker. I'ma get you out the picture if you tryna buck me. I'm like 50 in the movie, dog, this shit get ugly. I'ma find a way, I'm looking lucid in the building, tryna ride today. They tryna steal my energy, but I'm alive, okay? I got my hat, I got my pride, they never kill me though. I look like money in this bitch, I'm tryna see the glow. I got the cash all on my vision, they don't want me though. I know it's people looking around, they wanna see me down. I count this cash, I look at my mission, I keep this cash, I look at my mission, I keep my head up, I keep on my duck. They can't see me like that, no duck. I told them keep it down, focus, look when I'm around, pass that shit like pass it around, we going back and forth. You know my niggas pass the torch, we coming for the game, of course. I got my solo shit on the platter next. I'm about to carve the game apart. These niggas next, they know I got 100 rhymes, 100 texts, 100 minds that'll explain it out for you without saying word. You know that it's absurd, the way that my brain square, the way that your heart break, the way that my curves run, the way that my I can't even rhyme straight, I can't even say word, the way that this metaphor flip, you know that I need me a I'm done. I think that was it. See, I'm telling you, this beat is
Vine Tree Radio.